Hello everyone and welcome. We are on our way to Alaska and it is day 6. In this video we are driving from Whitehorse to Dawson City, so buckle up. Once we arrive in Dawson City, we give you a tour of the town and let you know what is up with that Sourtoe Cocktail. And yes, I'm talking about a real human toe, so stay tuned. If you had a chance to watch our day 5 video, you know that we spent the night in Whitehorse, and this morning Whitehorse is our starting point for day 6. Whitehorse is the capital city of the Yukon and is located on the banks of the famous Yukon River. I just pulled up a map here. You see Whitehorse at the bottom right corner. We are traveling in a northwesterly direction up to Dawson City. That's about 530 kilometers or 332 miles, and it will take you around 6.5 hours. Of course, that depends how many stops you put in between. The scenic drive from Whitehorse to Dawson City offers an adventure into the rich history and natural wonders of Canada's north. And here we are out middle of September and you see how everything is nice and yellow from the leaf changes. This drive takes you through a landscape that experienced the gold rush and again has some beautiful scenery. During the drive from Whitehorse along the scenic Klondike Highway, that's the highway we're on right now, keep your eyes peeled for wildlife and you may just see some moose, bald eagles, black bears and even the elusive Yukon wolf that call this region their home. There are a few small communities along this 530 kilometers, 332 mile drive, and without too many stops, again, it will take you around 6.5 hours. I recommend to fill up with gasoline before you leave Whitehorse, so you should not need to worry about fuel again until you arrive in Dawson City. And yeah, I should mention one more thing. Be aware of the frost heaves in the road, so watch your speed, as some of them could actually damage your vehicle. Originally, the plan I had was to turn left a few kilometers outside Whitehorse towards Alaska, but I made a last-minute decision to go straight, staying on the Klondike Highway all the way up to Dawson City and then go to Alaska from there. One of my reasons for that was that I want to travel the top of the World Highway from the Yukon into Alaska. Now, when I say highway, that means gravel and dirt roads for hours. And I only have another 24 hours left before that remote road and border crossing is closing until May or June the following year, as winter is just too harsh up here. Apparently, every year some tourists are forced to travel back the same way they came into Dawson City, as they were not aware of the road closure. Anyways, traveling that road will be a future KassDays video going to Alaska day 7. Now, as you can see in the meantime here, we ended up in a construction zone. There is absolutely no pavement left and it was quite a long stretch where they are rebuilding the highway. Now, this is kind of an indication you need a certain vehicle to come up here if you want to visit this area and travel, especially then on some off-roads, and even a main highway could turn into some off-roads with some ruts in it that are maybe 4, 5, 6 inches deep. That's about 10-15 centimeters. So make sure you have an appropriate vehicle. So I guess all I'm saying is a low sports car, low to the ground, is probably not the right vehicle to take up here on this journey. Also make sure you have a couple basic hand tools, a spare tire, you have air in the spare tire, know how to change the spare tire yourself, as sometimes it may take hours till you come across some civilization or another vehicle again. As an FYI, about 20 minutes outside Dawson City, you can take the Dempster Highway and travel up to Inuvik and the Arctic Ocean. However, that is close to another 800 kilometers of gravel road, and the roads are not always in the best shape. We probably at some point will travel up there as well, and when we do, we make sure we take you along with us. As we are now getting within minutes of Dawson City, the rock piles you see on either side of the Yukon Highway are called tailing piles and are leftovers from the dredges and gold mining days that started in 1896. Huge amounts of gold has been removed from this area, but it also completely changed the landscape by redirecting rivers, creeks, and leaving all these tailing piles behind. Here we have a quick stop at Dawson City. Welcome.
That your destination.
So welcome to Dawson City in the Yukon Territory, Canada. This town is the heart of the Klondike Gold Rush region. Dawson City is a historic town with a rich and fascinating past, from its roots as a bustling gold rush town to its modern day charm and unique attractions. There is no shortage of things to discover in this remote corner of the world. Now, depending when you visit, probably or preferably in the summer months, as the cold temperature record for winter is about minus 58 Celsius, that's about minus 72 Fahrenheit. And yes, you heard me right, minus 58 Celsius, minus 72 Fahrenheit. Now we turned off the main highway, which is, I think, the only paved road in town here. So we go down a side road here and then give you a slow driving and later on a walking tour through town here. And as you can see, most of it is just dirt roads. So Dawson City was founded in 1896 during the Klondike Gold Rush and quickly became a hub of activity as prospectors from around the world came to the area in search of their fortune. At its peak, the town apparently had a population of over 30,000 people, making it one of the largest and most prosperous cities in the Canadian North. Today, Dawson City has preserved, I think, much of its rich history, with many of its original buildings and landmarks still standing as a testament to its past. As of 2021, it had a population of about 1,500 people, and I think that may fluctuate a bit depending on the time of year, as winters are very cold up here and it is a very remote location. I'm just going to pull out to the side here and turn around to take a picture here and show you one such historic building from the past. In this case, it is a old church. However, there are many more, as you will see, as we slowly drive through this town. The Yukon River, by the way, that's just on the edge of town here, was considered really in the past the highway to this town, bringing supplies into this remote region. And again, depending when you are in town, you can take a tour of the SS Kino, and I'm going to show you this in a bit here, which is the last stern wheeler of the Yukon fleet and was used to transport people and goods in and out of town. Now, as we keep driving through another side street, or it's a parallel street to the main highway, there's a couple, I would say about 2 or 3, I think, that go up and down that way. So we'll give you an overview, and you can see a lot of old style buildings here. Some stuff you kind of see in certain movies where they have buildings and towns depicted like that. If you have a close look, you can also see the wooden boardwalk on the side, as they have no paved sidewalks, just like there are no paved road, and a lot of it has to do with the extreme cold they experience in the winter months. We are gonna make a stop at the downtown hotel that's at the 2nd Ave and Queen Street, and you may seen some YouTube videos because of the Sourtoe Cocktail, which features that real mummified human toe. And as I promised at the beginning, I will get to that story and give you some background. But here it is. The Sourtoe Cocktail has that toe in a drink, and it needs to touch your lips as you drink the cocktail. Anyways, we just ordered some food as I did not feel the need, and maybe some of you may say, hey, you weren't brave enough, Cass, but anyways, I didn't have a need for that drink, especially since we were still going to tour a little more here. So I get to that in a minute. Now here we are taking a few more turns. You see a couple people walking here, and the weather, it's almost like, is it gonna rain or is it gonna snow? It was probably about 6-7 degrees Celsius. If I have to take a guess here without looking it up, that was probably 38-39 Fahrenheit. As it turned out, eventually it did not snow, no wet snow, but we got some rain. Now to the left here, that burgundy, reddish, dark red building is the Downtown Hotel, and it's the home of the Sourtoe Cocktail, and we'll head into there in a minute. Not sure if you caught the stop sign there, but it doesn't just say stop, it's also in the native language for the area, and don't ask me how to pronounce it. Now we are inside the Downtown Hotel, a bite to eat, and here you see the number 120,789 with the Sourtoe Cocktail Club. Here is the campground we stayed overnight. It was not very busy anymore, but it was a very nice place, and it's right in town. But anyhow, let's get to that story and the background, what this is all about with this real human toe. Now just have one more thing sidetracked. That's one of these stretches here they used for the gold mining days. So that's the visitor center in Dawson City here. Shows some old paraphernalia. If I pronounce this correctly, I'm not quite sure, but it's a neat place to see and check it out. It's not very big. It says National Historic Sites, Klondike of Canada. And this, by the way, this brown contraption is the actual heater to heat the building with hot water. Then some local flags and the Canadian flag. Now as we walk outside, you will see the SS Kino, which is the last stern wheeler, and as I mentioned before, used to transport goods up and down the Yukon River. But anyways, let me get to this story now here. In 1973, and this is about the real human toe, the Sourtoe Cocktail has become a Dawson City tradition and is exactly what it sounds like. An actual human toe that has been dehydrated and preserved in salt, and it is used to garnish a drink of your choice. Now, where did that toe come from, you may ask? Or actually toes, I should say. I believe it to be number 8 of toes right now, which also makes you wonder, okay, where did all the other ones go? So here we go. The first toe is said to have belonged to a miner and rum runner named Louis Lycan, who had his frostbitten toes amputated in the 1920s. Lycan preserved it in a jar of alcohol in his cabin as a memory of what happened to him. About 50 years later, in 1973, a local captain, Dick Stevenson, found the jar containing the toe while cleaning the cabin. He then brought the toe down to the Sourdough Saloon in the Downtown Hotel and started plunking it into the drinks of those who were brave enough, and that was the start of the Sourtoe Cocktail Club. Unfortunately, the original toe lasted only 7 more years after its discovery. According to the Sourtoe Cocktail Club, apparently in July 1980, a miner named Gary Younger was trying for the Sourtoe record. And as he drank up to get some courage, on his 13th glass of sourdough champagne, his chair tipped over backwards and he accidentally swallowed the toe. And sadly, toe number 1 could not be recovered. So now a replacement toe was needed, and since then 7 more toes have been donated to the bar. Now you may wonder, what happened to all these toes? Toe number 2 was given after an amputation to an inoperable corn. Toe number 3 came from a victim of frostbite again and was also accidentally swallowed. Just gives you the shivers, doesn't it? Toe 4 was an anonymous toe later stolen by a hunter. The 5th and 6th toes were donated by a Yukon old-timer in return for free drinks for his nurses. Toe 7 was an amputation due to diabetes, and toe 8 arrived in a jar of alcohol with the message, "Don't wear open sandals while mowing the lawn." There was also an incident where the toe was not accidentally swallowed, but on purpose. That was the first and only time and resulted in a $500 fine, which has now been increased to about $2,500. At one point the toe was stolen, but then returned again by mail. So, in conclusion, are you brave enough to having a toe in any drink of your choice? But remember, the toe must touch your lips. So what do you think of this story? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, it is the next morning, so good morning everyone. And as the top of the World Highway closes in less than 24 hours, we better get a move on things. But before we can get onto that road, we need to catch a ferry across the Yukon River. That's where this paved road ends, and in the winter time it's an ice road across the river to the other side. But anyways, as we get close to the ferry terminal, thanks for watching. Please leave some comments, give it a thumbs up or down, and tune back in for the next video of day 7 going to Alaska. In the meantime, stay well, be safe until we see you again next week.